The other thing I want to just touch base on real quick, and this may be just a little off topic, but it should be fun. So I've had lots of knee surgeries over the years. I'm almost 50 now, and had a really great run at military and law enforcement and all the other jobs in those fields that I've had and enjoyed. But they do take their toll on you, and accidents happen. And so I've had 3 major right knee surgeries, and it really got me thinking about like the mobility. So going back to the range, is sort of where the story's coming from. So bear with me for a minute. We have targets in 3 different directions, and the targets, can be 700-800 yards, in either direction for me to walk to. It is a working farm, so come spring, when all the crops are planted, I have to physically walk out and repair and fix and paint and work on all the steel. And there's 3 different lines, and till I'm said and done, it's probably walking a good sometimes 3 miles and carrying all the equipment and taking the time to fix and repair. So it takes just forever. And we were talking about maybe a golf cart or 4-wheeler, but we can't use those there because they do too much damage to the fields. And then it gives other people that see it, thinking they can ride their 4-wheelers or other things there, and it tears up the farm. So we didn't want to do that. And so we were at the Great American Outdoor Show this year, and there was an e-bike company called Bakcou, Bakcou, and they had said that they had the number 1 selling fat tire hunting bike for the last 2 years. And it got me thinking, because I seen them driving around them. I said, wow, that looks really cool and a lot of fun. And so I talked to the landowner and said, hey, these things have trailers. I said, I never really thought about it. And I thought, would you mind if I bought this electric fat bike, I guess, a hunting bike with a trailer, and used that to run back and forth to all the steel and fix and repair things and just save some wear and tear on my poor knees? And he's like, oh, no, have at it. Well, so I started talking with the company some more and doing a lot more research. And I have to say, I am super excited about getting one here. And so excited about it that we actually became an authorized dealer for the company. So we have several of these electric fat tire hunting mountain bikes coming. Some of them can have a range of up to 40 to 60 miles. It's crazy. And the more I learned about them, the more I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people out there that, and let's face it, the hunting crowd, the big game crowd, even the varmint hunting crowd here in Pennsylvania, there's not 12-year-olds running around all over these farms with 22 long rifles anymore. I mean, it's guys like myself and my friend Rich that have more gray than any other color, on their faces and in their hair, that are out here doing this stupid stuff in July weather, walking miles and miles and miles. And the one thing that really got me thinking about it was, I've done some hunts out west with people that have, let's face it, a lot of us work jobs that aren't very physical, and not taking anything away from this, but we don't get a chance. We're not, a lot of us aren't outdoor creatures anymore. We don't spend a lot of time exercising and getting in shape, at least as not as much as we'd want to. And then as you get older, it gets harder because your time gets filled with so many other things. And so we've seen it. We went out on a hunt in Idaho, and you paid for this hunt. You're not in really great shape. You got to walk 6 miles back into where we're going to hunt, and you're going. And there's no motorized vehicles. And I did it for 10 days, and I watched one of the guys with us. He lost like 20 pounds. And he actually didn't look well a couple of the days, and he would just keep pushing through. And so how many guys that are our age, or older, in their 60s and 70s, that are still out there hiking this stuff like maniacs and then packing out the elk on their backs? Well, now you've got this tool. The more I learned about it was these are level 1 and level 2 mountain bikes, and they're pedal assist. You can run them with just a motor, but typically speaking, you pedal a little bit and help take up some of the energy and not completely destroy the energy that the bike has. But literally, they have several different types of trailers, and of course, they're 4.5-inch wide tires that they run over bumps and logs easier, or the terrain that we're on when we're hunting, it handles it sort of like a mountain bike. So it can get you back that 6 miles with a lot less stress, more efficiently, quietly. You're not scaring anything. And then allow you to enjoy your hunt. And if you do get something while you're 6 miles back in there, you can get it back out. And what I learned is there's a big push for these to make them a lot more illegal. Now, look, I know some guys are going to be like, well, there should be no motorized vehicles in the national parks and national. And I get that. You're trying to preserve the area, and I'm not trying to tread on that. But they do allow mountain bikes in here, and the rule was as long as they're under 1 horsepower or 750 watts, they're not considered motorized. And so I look at it this way. The older generation is the ones that are still taking up the torch in hunting. And some cases, a lot older generation. Take Pennsylvania, for example. There are people that die every year, even in our state, that have a heart attack the first day or second day or third day of deer season and die in the woods because they're not used to going out and exerting that much strenuous exercise, getting in and out of these different areas that they have to walk to. And so Pennsylvania State Game Commission, I believe on July 1st now, I think this vote was supposed to happen a couple weeks ago, but it got pushed back thanks to COVID-19. But they're on July 1st, I think, going to vote to legalize level 1 and 2 mountain bikes that have that e-assist to be used in the state game lands. They're already legal in the state forest. They're legal in national parks. They're legal in national. I mean, there's so many areas now that, if you rode in by horseback, you could get deep into and get away from the crowds. But unless you had that guide or that horse, you were walking. And I just see it really opening up and just, I don't want to say making it easier because hunting is really hard work. I mean, anytime I've gone out hunting all day, I come home exhausted. But if you think about the older generation and saying, hey, they can get back there a lot safer, they can get home safer. If they harvest a big animal, they can take it out in pieces easier without having to either hang it from trees and make 7 trips in and out or call 5 people to come in and help them pull it out. And I know that's the fun of it all, but for example, I was out there with my uncle and he passed up a really, really pretty bear. It wasn't big, but it was pretty. I thought, man, if I had the opportunity, I probably would have taken it. And he said, we're so far back in here. Because I asked him, why didn't you take that? And he goes, we're so far back in here. There's just no way I wanted to deal with all the work of getting it out. And I thought, I look back at that and I thought, well, if we had one of these here to where we could harvest the animal and at least taken some of the effort down a notch or two to get it out safely. Think about emergencies. There's just so many other things I think that this is a win-win for the hunters. And it might not be everybody's cup of tea. I sort of get that. But for the guy that wants to go in and camp, in other words, take his tent and all of his equipment in with him, get way back in there, we were in the Panhandle of Idaho where you really were back in there in the middle of nowhere. Well, you could go back in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 miles, set your camp up, and then go hunting from there. But get all your gear in there easily, safely. Take what you really do need. You're not taking extra of this or extra that because you can't carry it all. And then what do you do when you get back in there and you have all of your camping stuff and now you've killed an elk? Well, now you've got 7 trips on your back to get not only just all your camping gear out, but then try to get that animal out before the meat spoils, if the weather's warm, before the bears get it, or something else decides to tear into it while you're lugging these portions, miles and miles back to a vehicle. So anyway, I guess for me, I originally was looking at these just because I thought it was a great utility tool that wasn't a four-wheeler, that wasn't going to tear up the property, that I could throw a couple of things in the little trailer behind me or maybe on the bike rack behind me, my tools and paint. And I could make easy work of going back in and taking care of the work that I need to do in a little bit more of an efficient manner. But then the more I kept researching it and reading it, and I love riding bikes anyway, so from motorcycles to bikes, it doesn't matter. If it's got 2 wheels, I like to go. And the more I kept reading it, the more I was like, wow, I never really thought about it. Wow, I never thought you could do that. Wow, if we would have had that in Idaho, that would have been awesome. I mean, we had one of my uncles who was pretty sick. He has all kinds of lung issues, and the only thing he could do is walk, a quarter or half a mile from camp. And so basically the entire hunt, my poor uncle was sort of stuck being camp cook because he wasn't healthy enough to get back in there at all. And so I thought in his case, maybe he could have went back a mile or two. And if he would have got something, he could have probably got it back out under power. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I just want to throw that out there. If you get a chance, check them out. We are an official authorized dealer, and we're excited about that. They are fantastic pieces of equipment. If you come to the shooting school here and you want to ride one, we'll have them here. We'll give you a little demo ride. You can buzz around on the property. So if you get a chance, check them out online. And we want to throw it out there that, we really think they're probably the best quality bike that's being made to date. And for any of you listeners out there that have an interest in purchasing one, we are going to offer free shipping to your location if you decide you'd like to buy one. Love to help you. Just give us a call here at the shop and we'll see if we can get you hooked up from there. But anyway, excited to have them on and excited to be an authorized dealer. I think that's pretty cool.